Well, thank you so much, Titus, for joining me.
Salve, decime Claudi. I couldn't say this not to distract you while you were checking the audio and everything, but it is very nice to see you for the first time. And I wanted to say to you a huge thank you for the help to my family in Germany. This was heartwarming, to say the least, and we will never forget this help.
Absolutely, it was a pleasure. Just to let other people know that there is a link to how to donate to the Corvi family, and I donated some money both to Ukraine and his family in Germany, and I was more than happy to do so. Anyways, yes, this is our first opportunity, and I thank you so much for being here today. I'm very glad that despite the circumstances, we're able to make it work. First of all, I would like to ask, how are things going right now with you and the situation in Poltava?
Of course, if you will allow me, I will make one clarification. The donation were used for help to my family, who are among the first refugees, and all of the community of Templum and pagan community here in Ukraine. But yeah, your specific donation went to the help of my family, and it was very helpful. Back to your question, everything is fine, and I don't say this as a filler. Poltava region is, I will get back into the events that took place this weekend, but right up until now, Poltava was basically the safest place in Ukraine. The reason why I say until this weekend, because on Saturday morning, Poltava was hit by an airstrike for the first time since the start of the war. Thankfully, there were no human casualties, and thank to gods, nothing happened since. So I truly think this is no coincidence that we built our temple exactly here, and I do think we are protected by the gods. So my family who remain here, and the Templum community, the 14 families in Ukraine, in Poltava, Kiev, in Kharkiv, and a few families from other cities. Everybody is safe. A pagan family from Kharkiv took refuge in Templum. Family of 7 currently staying with us downstairs, and everybody is safe thanks to the help of pagans worldwide. Everybody was provided with all necessities like food, medicine, water, and shelter, obviously, for the nearest time. So I can say that everything is well. Homeless. Great.
Regarding Poltava, I read that, like you said, up until a few days ago, it was mainly untouched, but there were a lot of refugees coming in from other parts, more eastern parts. Is that still stream of refugees coming, or is it pretty much stopped?
The refugees come every day. Obviously, the biggest waves past us so far. So biggest waves of refugees first was obviously Kharkiv. Many refugees came from there, and then it was another city to the north of and to the northeast of Poltava, Sumy. There were many refugees from there also after that. Right now, there is not that big of a stream of refugees, but yeah, it was intense for a certain time.
Well, I mean, it must be a very difficult situation, and it's something I can't really relate to because I've never been in a battleground zone. It's also been going on. It's unbelievable for more than a month. I mean, how are you coping with things?
To be honest, it's very hard to imagine that it's been over a month already. Oftentimes it seems like it's a one continuous long day. But one important point that I want to make is that we have dealt with it well. We have organized, we have done everything that is required from us, and right now we are back to work. We don't stop. I, Titus Octavius Corvus, I represent TEMPLUM right now, and Arx Mercatura, and both of these projects, they are going mostly just as they were before. Regarding TEMPLUM, regular rituals are taking place. Still to this day, to this moment, people can request rituals performed from their name at templum.org, and we will perform these rituals. And the construction season that usually starts around this time, it will resume in the nearest days, in a week, max 2, as soon as the weather will allow it. We have large projects for reconstruction of the large altar, of the altars. Some repairs are needed. We are actually going to move one of the most, I cannot say one of the most important projects, but one that is long due is the construction of proper columns for the temple of Jupiter Perunus. And regarding Arx, an update for my customers who will hopefully see this is that we are, as of today, we are back to work fully. We have reanimated most of the production chains. I was contacting the Ukrainian post office, Ukrposhta. They're doing tremendous work to actually keep international deliveries going, because it was a very difficult situation first time, and many of the delivery services like DHL and many others, they left Ukraine completely. Ukrposhta is continuing international deliveries. There obviously there are many difficulties to deal with, and the delivery will take somewhat longer. If we will get back to this topic, I can discuss it more into detail, how everything is going. But yes, I want people to understand that thanks to the situation right now, we fully continue our projects, and people will see awesome news soon, I hope.
Well, that's wonderful to know. Yeah, we could continue speaking about Arx. Back in, I believe, the end of November, I ordered a toga and a tunic, and I'm very excited to get that soon. And we've written about it because I don't even know how to put it on. And for better or for worse, I don't own any slaves to help me put it on. But you said that, once I get it, we could maybe do something with the chair and yeah. Where you also mentioned that, you could either send it to me now, or we could wait till things improve. And to be absolutely honest, I'm not in a hurry. I mean, it would be nice, to have a lovely toga and a tunic on speaking with you now, but that's the least of my concerns is what we're wearing, while speaking to each other. I do want to show a few items from ARCS that I actually ordered back in 2020. The first one is a Mars statue. It's actually quite nice, and I ordered it when it first came out. I believe you mentioned that. The first batch, is going to be made, and I thought, that's amazing. I've seen a similar statue in the Capitoline Museum in Rome, which I believe is what you use for the for the image to cast this. It's very nice, and it looks great. And not only that, I was very impressed of the quality. It did take some time to arrive by mail, but once I did get it, I thought, wow. Here, actually, let me show everybody that and just twirl it around.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you allow me, I want to say that I'm very grateful, happy to know that you enjoy the statue, because it's the best reward that I can get. And you're absolutely right about what statue it was based off. I want to quickly mention that here are your toga and tunica that,
yes.
Of course, due to the circumstances, they were shipped in early February, but because of the whole situation, there were issues with customs office, and to the better or worse, the items could not get through before the event started. And one of the important things is that several such packages were caught in this potentially dangerous situation, but thanks to the actions of Ukrposhta and our personal initiative, we were able to retrieve all the packages that were caught up in this situation in Kiev. They're all now secure, waiting to be shipped out. And the next thing I wanted to say regarding the statue, we are very happy with how the statues are coming out, because it is actually one of our most important for us personally directions for Arcs Mercatura, because there is a clear mission to our business, to the project of Arcs Mercatura, as there is a clear mission for Templum, to which we can get later. They're both deeply important to us from the point of our worldview and what change we want to bring to the world. With Arcs, we create many things specifically for pagans, for their practice. And with the statues, we want to create this gallery of images that would be appropriate, that could be unified and used by pagans for correct worship. And we are very happy with how it is turning out so far.
I do have to say, though, that the items that ARC sells is not just for pagans. They're really for everybody. I mean, even if you're Christian, you could appreciate a statue, you could appreciate a lamp, you could really, enjoy a toga. So it is definitely for everybody, not just for pagans, I have to say. There are a few people in the chat that I just want to mention. A bunch of people. So we're up to 12 people now streaming live, and a few people say Salvete. Some of the people, they have a screen name, I don't know. For instance, Goddess Vesta has that screen name, but I don't know the Roman name. And then Publius Aurelius Barbato said, I will follow along when I get my tunica and toga as well. Goddess Vesta made a joke, did the Russians take my tintinabulum? I'm not sure, what is that?
Tintinabulum. Tintinabulum is actually with me as well. I want to apologize in advance to the people that I could not answer yet. The last 2 weeks were when everything already stabilized and we worked on getting back to schedule. I still could not answer to everybody because, well, the most recent event with the airstrike took a bit of a wind out of our sails, but it's now been dealt with. And a lot of time took the preparations for the first funeral rituals that took place since the start of the war. And by tomorrow I will get back to everyone regarding the already ordered items. And as I mentioned many times, all the obligations that we took on ourselves, they will be fulfilled no matter what will happen. We will get everything that was ordered to our customers, and Tintinabulum is with me, and yeah, it will be shipped out very soon as well. Regarding, I just wanted to make a quick comment regarding what you said. Yes, we don't limit our customer base, obviously, because it would be a bad business decision to do so. But to clarify, what I meant is that this is our driving reason for this, what we do, because this is a business that allows us to continue what we do, to popularize our religion. I don't really like this word, but and also we make a lot of things that are not only for pagans, obviously. First of all, the statues specifically, they were made by very talented people, and you can appreciate their quality without any concerns about religion, even history. But obviously, those two oftentimes connect our customers to us. We also make clothes that oftentimes reenactors use, and also practitioners, cultores, and Nova Roma citizens. And we do plan to, we have a grand plan for Arx Mercatura, and we want to develop different directions specifically for reenactors to create historically accurate clothes that are made a certain way, because reenactors are very careful to this part, and we obviously want to provide our services in this side. Also, the statues, we plan to create images first for all Olympian gods, and then a popular requested ones, and many plans in that regard.
So I would like to show you the Lars statues that I have. And so not only did I order the Mars one, but let me just show you these. So this is one of the two Lars, and I got it with the gold finish. And you see the cornucopia there. And I believe you have 3 different sizes depending on what one would like. And do you know what this is right here? It's like a little basket.
Yes, it's a bucket. Not to my knowledge, I know what exactly it is for. We based off the image of the reconstructed images of Lararia, mainly from Pompeii, the ones that are preserved the most, and ancient statues of the Lares. And actually, these Lares statues were our first project in casting direction of Mercatura, and we are very happy with how they turned out. And one of the main philosophies, not to sound too, I forgot the word. I'm sorry because I'm very nervous. But one of our things that we really focused on, not to sound too pretentious, but we really wanted to start working in this fairly barren niche very few people do these things. The equipment for practitioners, the ancient Rome related things like statues, lararia, altars, clothes. A lot of people work on clothes, but our focus was to provide items that are twice as affordable, and the quality of these items would be twice as high. And I mean this literally. And so far, I can say that we are succeeding in this, because we do try hard to keep the price as affordable for everyone as possible. We are very happy with the quality of our items, and our customers are as well.
So let me just show the third statue I have, because the Lars come in pairs. It looks like this is a drinking horn up there. Very nice. So I'm wondering, how is this actually made? For instance, do you have an ancient Lars that you could make a mold copy of? Or does someone, through pictures, come up with like a prototype in the studio that you work off of?
Yes, we have, as I mentioned, great team of very talented people. And unfortunately, we do not have physical artifacts on our hands, but we use many references from the internet of images and statues, and we create our sculptor. She creates the first model, and recently we've been working a lot with 3D modeling, which was working great, and it really works very, very convenient. And first this 3D model is made, then it is 3D printed in plastic, and from that printed model there is a wax casing made, and only from that it is cast in brass. Yeah, that's the process. And the drinking horn you mentioned, it's riton.
Yeah, I've seen those, like actual ones, but normally they date from the Greek era, the ones that I've seen in museums. And I actually saw a wonderful one last year. I believe it was in Trieste, and it's made of silver.
Yes, I think I've seen the collection from Trieste online. Some of the most beautiful and best preserved statues I've seen. Oh, if you remember, there is a statue of the goddess who has the zodiac signs above her. I'm not sure if you remember it, or not.
Unfortunately, I don't.
I don't remember the name of the goddess. I think she was supposed to be a guardian god of a specific city, but wow, it's just unbelievable how well it is preserved, and just the quality of it. It's unbelievable.
Definitely. I mean, I travel quite a bit, and for instance, on Saturday, I'll be in Ephesus. And on Friday afternoon, I'm planning on being in the Ephesus Museum, and I'll see the cult statue of Diana. And one of the things I have from when I went to Turkey was actually a small cult statue of Diana. But the problem, though, is many of these museum replicas, the quality isn't that great. It's nice that it's maybe 10 euros, 20 euros, 25 euros, but I mean, you could literally, see like the hair and the details and just the folds, and it just makes such a difference if it's just like inexpensive but nice museum souvenir piece, or if it's really carefully crafted by experts.
And there are a lot of people, or there are some people who appreciate that. They some of the people and producers in this market, they make replicas of exactly this, not to sound rude, but crude, and sort of like with these brutal shapes. statues, and some people replicate those and sell them for a lot of money. And some people appreciate that. They want to have an exact replica of this certain statue. But as I mentioned, we hope, as the ancient Romans did as well, we seek practicality. We want the statue to be, well, you can say versatile, because as we mentioned before, these products, they are aimed at different people. So the people who appreciate the decoration, the beauty of it, the quality, they could find it. And also, these are not, well, to my personal view, these are not just decorations. These are statues to deities and gods. And gods deserve the best. And to honor them properly, we think we cannot save on effort.
And I believe I read that whenever a product goes out, there's a ritual involved. Is that correct?
We consecrate all of the items, individual items, before shipping them out. And as we talked a lot about Ars Mercatura today, I'm excited to talk about Templum as well.
That's the next question.
Okay. I can talk about Ars Mercatura for a long time too. Yes, but back to the question, is that we, as our community here, my family specifically, and our community of Templum, we are not reenactors, we are revivalists, and we live with this worldview. We honor the gods, and as in ancient Rome, one of the reasons I don't like the word religion is that it's on its own in this modern sense, because modern religions are very different from the ancient tradition. And Pax Deorum, it was intertwined with daily Roman life in everything. And so we try to bring this back to life as well. So rituals for new projects, for whatever important events that come in our life, it's a regular thing here.
Excellent. I just want to quickly get in a few comments in, because we're up to 17 live viewers. And obviously, after we stream, because, for instance, in the US, a lot of people are working now, people could watch it at their leisure. So let me just get in a few of these comments, and I really appreciate them. Nerva mentioned, is it possible to get from Arx Tunica Augusticlava until June?
Absolutely. To Tiberius Julius Nerva, salve, my friend. And yes, we will ship the items before then. We'll get in touch with you personally. Absolutely, before June.
Great. The person with the screen name Goddess Vesta, I don't know the Roman name, wrote, my items have always been excellent. There's a comment in Latin, and I don't speak Latin, so I'm not going to try to not going to try to say that there. Another person wrote that I'm right about the statues, regarding it's not just for Romans or people that practice Roman religion. The person wrote, my mother is a Catholic, yet in my home growing up, we had several statues of Venus, Minerva, and Mars. Wonderful. There are a few more comments. Goddess Vesta wrote, I'm teasing. I know it's been a horror in Ukraine. I'm glad you're safe. I mean, of course, many people have been concerned. And you posted several times updates on Facebook. And that's been a great relief to many people, because obviously every single day to make sure that you're safe, because you have such a large community, or you have several different communities that you participate in. But a lot of people do appreciate, seeing and hearing from you and making sure everything's okay.
I wanted to touch on this well before we move on. This was unbelievable, and I don't find words really, not because of language barrier, that the support that we felt, and not just felt, but physically people supported us. It was immense. the whole world united and messaged us daily concerning about our health, about our well-being, the amount of people that offered a place to stay, help with transportation. You had an interview with Hortensia Fabiana Faustina recently.
Last week.
Yes, and I didn't listen to all of it. I couldn't so far, but I'm sure you touched upon the her trip across the border and how, and it's unbelievable. People messaged us daily. They donated. People, with the help of Tiberius Julius Nerva, we found people that offered to our first refugees a place to stay, and people we never knew before. And also people who drove all the way from Slovakia, from Bratislava, to the border checkpoint, over 1,000 kilometers one way, and waited the whole day at the border checkpoint. It's I'm talking about Michal Švec and Michael Markech. I talked about in detail about how our evacuation trip went down on our Templum YouTube channel. If somebody didn't see that, you can check the report on how it all went. It's I cannot describe it. The community that exists to this day, because one of the problems that we are trying to solve or to work towards resolving is that Roman community and specifically pagan community, they're not mainstream, they're not well known, and very underground, so to say, at least, in a general scope of things. But the productivity and tightness of the community that already exists around the world, we felt it on ourselves, and in an unprecedented way. People organized very fast. They organized their efforts to help. They still do, to us specifically, to Ukraine in general. And if it wasn't for the international polytheistic community, I don't know if we could have evacuated people, if we could have helped local families with the medicine, which is there are a lot of shortages right now with products. Groceries, food, and stuff like that. I want to say that it was a massive eye-opening moment from this regard.
Do you know if if there are some Nova Romans or other people in the polytheistic community that are allowed to leave Ukraine? Because obviously males between the ages of, I believe, 18 and 16 aren't allowed to. But do you know of any more that are trying to leave, or is everybody in the community that's allowed to leave have already left?
Yes, everybody that is allowed to leave, specifically from Nova Roma, as me and my family, we are citizens of Nova Roma, and citizens of Nova Roma from Ukraine who could leave already left. As you mentioned, males from 18 to 60 cannot leave right now due to the mobilization. But the members of our community here, of Templum community, not everybody who could leave did. We are trying to persuade people that it is best to do so while it is possible, especially now, it seems the activity, at least the advance, certainly halted for now. But it is obviously an individual decision of all the people, because it is not easy to leave behind not just your house, but your family, husbands, fathers, sons. It is not an easy decision, and a lot of people are very reluctant to leave. So we're always ready to mobilize again and to to organize more evacuation efforts. But so far, some people are willing to stay, some did leave, and with massive support from Nova Roma specifically, with organizing shelters for these people. Yeah, the impact of Nova Roma as organization on its influence on building and helping to build this community of pagans has been very important.
Well, that's wonderful to hear, and that also is along the lines of what Hortensia Faustina wrote. That it was amazing that her journey. I believe it was Ukraine, Romania, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Germany, and now she's in Turkey. So I mean,
there's also, for a brief moment, there was Hungary, because if I remember correctly, they traveled from Slovakia to Czech Republic through Hungary. But yeah, that's correct.
Quite a journey, and then along the way there were people helping her, just as your younger brother and mother, and so that's very heartwarming. So to change gears a little bit, I'm wondering, because for instance, when I look at the news, I'm flooded with articles, and if you go on Twitter, unfortunately, and it's you see all the time in the last few days these tragic pictures. Sorry, Bilder is a word in German, from Bucha or a few other places. Absolute tragic scenes of just people lying on the ground dead. How do you process your information, and do you also spend a lot of time online reading these stories, or do you try to block it out as much as possible?
Absolutely, it's unbearable to see the news. I try to stay out.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to Ukraine, but for some reason, I just can't stop looking at articles, looking at Twitter, and I mean, it's just such a sad situation. And is the feeling that the Russian troops near Kiev, they're retreating in order to go to the east. Is there a feeling that maybe Poltava could potentially be in more danger? Or is there a certain space between Poltava and the Donbass region that obviously nobody knows what will happen, but one is a bit more, I don't know, so less scared that, that they're going to attack in the coming days or weeks?
You understand, Amika, that I'm not a military expert, and as you mentioned, anything can happen. One of the important reasons why, because some people messaged us in a good manner, they messaged that they're crazy to do what we do right now in the circumstances, but it is important to continue our work right now, specifically for Templum. ARCS too, because we very much seriously consider the responsibility we have, that we took upon ourselves from people around the world, for ARCS, for customers, and for Templum, for people who supported us, members of our community here and worldwide. And one of the important things that that I believe not all people understand is that we don't think our religious work should be the consequence of peace that is in our country. It is the other way around. We think that it is of utmost importance to continue our work, to continue the worship of the gods, and peace will be a direct consequence of that. And it can be the other way.
I mean, everybody's hoping for peace. I remember about 2 years ago when I was I first heard about Templum on Facebook, and I was very intrigued because I've seen ruins of Roman temples from all over. I mean, I don't want to go into that much, but I've been at so many temples and in different states of preservation. Sometimes you just see a little outline on the ground. Other times you see the Pantheon, which was a temple, but now it's a church. And then sometimes, for instance, in Tunisia, there will be, for instance, a temple missing a roof. So different stages of preservation. But I was amazed to see the pictures of Templum on Facebook because it was vibrant. It had a roof. It had altars in front. It's actually being used. So it's not in a state of ruin, or it's not, just for tourists to visit and take some pictures of. So I found that so intriguing 2 years ago. And I've been following your journey ever since. But I also was thinking that your journey must have started long ago. So how did the whole Templum project come about? Because you must have been working on it for years and years now, and even before that with the idea.
Yes, the whole project started when I was very, very young. So it was actively ongoing before I could consciously participate in it. My father, Corvus, as I've seen this bit in your interview with Hortensia Faustina, she mentioned it, that she knew my father from Nova Roma from way back, and from ProDis project, which was a project within Nova Roma that was specifically targeted to building the first altars and the temple, potentially to gods, a public temple. And so it started a long time ago. I basically grew up with it, and it's been a part of my whole life. I wish my father Corvus could tell you firsthand, especially about those infant years of this project. But in 2009, we consecrated the first marble altar to Jupiter here, where temple is now located. Gnaeus Cornelius Lentulus arrived here, and an augur, I unfortunately forget his full name, Agricola. They came here to consecrate the altar. I actually remember this event quite vividly. It was very special. And since then, it only grew. I hope Templum is a great example of how such things manifest, because it started very small and gradually it became bigger, and now we have a big temple. Now it's a temple complex with over 40 altars, and 2 more minor temples to be built. And we obviously have grand plans for Orbs, which you may know is the project of modern settlement, Roman settlement, and it will be Templum and Orbs. They are coming toe to toe, if I'm using this phrase correctly, because there will be a next major temple to Jupiter Optimus Maximus that we want to base off the temple of Jupiter Capitolinus from Rome. And so Orbs and Templum, they both have very ambitious plans about the development, and we are working towards it. And regarding the Templum, I want also to touch on why it came about, not only how.
Sure.
Is that we talked about this with my father. One of the main concerns of his was that Roman tradition is very much different from modern religions, for example, as I said, the gods, their presence in human lives, they are present in every aspect. And while Sacra Privata, the private rituals of practitioners, a lot of people make great efforts to reintroduce the gods in their individual lives, and some with more or less success. But also Sacra Publica was just as important, if not more important, the public rituals for the communities. And before Templum, there was no public temple for these public rituals to take place. So templum, without exaggeration, it is the first functioning public temple since the fall of the ancient Roman ones, and the one that is, as its mission is to provide the sacred ground for all cultures. It is not an organization. Templum specifically is not an organization in which you enroll, for example, and be a member of it. It is a platform for everybody, absolutely everybody, to realize this missing part of practicing the ancient tradition according to the way ancient Romans did.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that there are a few recreated temples in a broad sense of the term. For instance, I've been to actually several in Germany, and I believe that one could actually perform some rituals if one so chooses, but that's not a consecrated temple. That's more of just, a building to give the visitors an idea of what a temple could look like in the past. So, I mean, I've seen a few of those, but nothing to the extent as in Ukraine. And in Ukraine, it's consecrated, so it's actually a serious temple rather than just more of a nice building for visitors to take a picture at. I have a question. Is it planned to have like a cult statue inside in the near or medium term future of Jupiter?
Absolutely, 100%. And great progress was done before the events took place. In regards to that, we use our experience with arcs, small statues, to continue the same process with the grand statue for a temple. And yes, it is definitely coming. And regarding the other temples, I wanted to touch upon this topic also for a short time. I'm sorry to go on these tangents, but I do think they are important for people to understand what templum is about, at least to explain to the ability that I can, is that I don't mean no disrespect to these projects of recreating the temples themselves, but unfortunately, they are nothing more than recreation of the construction, because Roman tradition is very much strict. It's the Romans, the creators of the modern law, and there was a divine law was very important to Romans. It was the most important law, and Romans, in my opinion, were the most successful civilization in establishing a proper relations with the gods through this law and number of rules. So the temple should be properly constructed and consecrated strictly according to the specific tradition, and specific rituals need to take place. So unfortunately, performing rituals with the same success at, for example, ruins of old temples, or at recreations like, for example, Parthenon in Tennessee, and that buildings that look like temples. Unfortunately, it is completely ineffective from the traditional point of view. As I said, we don't mean any disrespect, but we think that people should be very serious when they deal with these things, because we had unfortunately quite a few. We've seen quite a few people very. I'm sorry, I'm trying to collect my words. People who were very irresponsible in approaching this Pax Deorum, achieving peace with the gods. They were very irresponsible with it, and it instead of helping in life, it brought them damage, so to say, because it is very important. It is possible to disrespect the gods even unwillingly in such ways. So we think there is a very specific process, and one of the most important concepts of ancient Roman life was the mos maiorum, the way of our ancestors, and we should strictly follow it.
Yes, very good points. Sylvia Sibila just wrote in the chat, thank you, Titus, for clarifying and pointing out important factors that maybe non-practitioners or new practitioners do not know.
Yeah,
and
Sylvia, and yeah, it's my pleasure. I hope it is a very important topic that I hope we will be able to talk about more in the future.
Absolutely. Let me get to a few more messages in the chat, because there are a lot of viewers and a lot of participation in the chat. So, I mean, I'm very grateful, for that. Let me just go to, there's just so many comments. I can't get to everyone, but I'll get to a good number. Caius Marcius Augustinus wrote, greetings and best wishes to you, and he donated to the channel. Sylvia Sibila also wrote, the availability of Roman non-Hellenic gods is also very lacking in the world, so we are happy for what you are doing and plan to do in the future.
Thank you very much.
Definitely nice comment. I have to skip a few. There's so many people that are just, sending you love and greetings. I mean, it's very nice to see. Another person wrote, just Titus, it's wonderful to see and hear you, my friend. And that's from someone with a screen name Anomalius Thracian. So not sure who that is.
I know that is, and greetings, my friend. It is the first my opportunity to participate in such a thing, and again, I'm very grateful to you personally, Amike, and to everybody who is participating. It is great to have. I hope this would have happened under different circumstances, but I'm very grateful for the communication we can have.
I'm very thankful for you. I mean, you could do a lot of other things with your time, and I'm very happy that we could speak. Especially since for the last few years, we've been writing to each other, and I've ordered a few things and I've asked you some questions, but it's definitely much different to, see you and to hear your thoughts and just to converse with you rather than just, back and forth on Facebook.
Yeah, it's one of my gripes, so to say, is that our community is amazing. I say this, I'm not saying this lightly. I wish that we can continue making it closer and closer and tighter, because I grew accustomed to the chatting online, but seeing everybody in person, hopefully
Much
seeing everybody in Templum one day. I hope a lot of people will come. Getting together, it will be amazing.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to come visit Templum. I'm not sure when. Obviously, even if the fighting started tomorrow, I don't think I would go there in the next a few weeks afterwards. So obviously, I don't want to be a burden or distraction or anything. But maybe in good circumstances, maybe next year, the year after, I would definitely love to visit Templum. I would love to just take pictures and just videotape the rituals, and just like I said to Hortensia, it's not just that, it's also the sights and the sounds and the smells, which you really can't grasp just like reading in a book or even just seeing in a picture. So I'm sure a lot of other people would love to visit. And along those lines, Tiberius Julius Nerva wrote, So how is the future for Orbs, the Roman settlement?
As I mentioned before, the projects that we have right now, we are actively working on continuing them. We talked extensively about Arcs and Templum, and Orbs is is equally important project. In some cases, way more important project. But also, unfortunately, it was limited by the circumstances the most, since most male members of our community are currently not being able to help. A lot of them are in the defense forces, and right now the active construction cannot properly start, although this project is not at full stop. We are working actively, we are visiting the grounds, we are researching and planning what we can do in the future, in the near future and long term. So Orbs, it's our focus didn't shift at all. As I said, the circumstances may change, but the goals that we set before ourselves, we cannot go around them. They're way too important.
And just for the reference of viewers, what is sort of the long-term goal of Orbs? And what do you envision, let's say, in 10 or 15 years from now?
As I said, us being revivalists and people who live by these ideals, real life Roman settlement is not just a catchy name. We want to build a physical community that will be united around the same idea of worshiping the gods. And because as we touched upon, our current community is built in our modern age thanks to the amazing technologies. If it wasn't for the internet and social media, we would never be able to connect with all the amazing people that we met. The amount of opportunities is amazing. But to stop at this is at this virtual border would be a great error, in my opinion. As I said, Mos Maiorum would take it very seriously. We want to bring back the way of life the Romans lived, literally.
So, including bathhouses and
absolutely.
And restaurants and bars and all of that.
Yes, yes, of course. And these things are important markers. Also, a tourist attraction. Orbs has great potential in it, but obviously our main focus is not just the looks, it's the spirit, because a real life Roman settlement of people living in one place together, building a new grand temple, it's a beautiful thing to organize around. So the long-term plan for Orbs is to build such a community, a physical community that will be united by the same goal of honoring the gods, and organizing our efforts with more and more effectiveness towards honoring the gods the way they deserve and bringing back their glory.
When I was speaking to Hortensia, she talked about her experience there, and I believe it was only about 2 months, unfortunately. But she had such a good time, and I remember seeing the pictures. And not only did she participate in rituals, but she was also teaching you Latin and just really enjoying the time. So, I mean, I'm really hoping that sooner rather than later, there will be others, that will be able to go there and really get the project running again in that sort of a
Yes.
sense.
Absolutely. Having Hortensia Faustina was nothing short of amazing. It is a great pity that it ended so abruptly and soon, because even with her alone, this spirit of Romanness, so to say, is so strong in her, and uniting with her alone was a great sense of this growing community. The discussions we were able to have about these ideas, learning Latin together was absolutely amazing, and visiting Orbs together with her. She is the first settler of Orbs to visit us, and the second visitor of Templum and Orbs, like of all time, not counting Agricola and Gnaeus Cornelius Lentulus since the establishing of Templum, and they showed people an important thing, that people can visit us, and they're having great experiences, and it was very important for people to see these familiar faces in case of Hortensia Fabiana Faustina here at Templum, and doing rituals and participating in its life. Yeah, it was absolutely a great time, and a great pity that she had to leave so soon. And we definitely expect her back, and reuniting with her again.
Definitely. The time is unfortunately running out, but I do want to get a few more comments and messages in the chat before I ask the last question to you. So Lentulus wrote from some minutes ago that when you were talking about him being there, wonderful memories. It was an honor to be at the birth of this. Hortensia Faustina wrote, yes, Cultus Deorum is community-based. And she wrote, you are restoring and upholding Pax Deorum, that is essential. There are other comments that I'm very thankful for. Unfortunately, I can't get to them all, but Hortensia Faustina also wrote, I will be back at the Orbs before long. I don't doubt it. I'm a colonist, ! Yeah, and she also wrote about living Romanitas is entirely different. It's amazing. I actually met Lentulus last year in Budapest when I was visiting Hungary for a week, and we had a very nice lunch, and we spoke for about an hour and a half or 2 hours, and I told him that this is only the second time I've met another Nova Roman that I know of in 18 years. So I'm a bit jealous in the sense that the community in Ukraine, not just the polytheistic community, also so the Roman community is strong, and you have people visiting you, and I think a big portion of the Romanitas is not only community, but it's also events, it's also games, it's banquets, it's many things, but it's always shared. So I really am looking forward to the opportunities to meet people in the future. Now, I've been to a few reenactments here and there, but I mean, that's not so, and I enjoy reenactments, but that's not like a really community meetup. That's just going to see, performers or going this or that. So I definitely look forward to meeting other people across Europe, and definitely looking forward to going to Ukraine. I would hope, next year or in 2 years, and then maybe I could order something and then I could, wear it and take it home. That'd be quite a feeling.
Now, and the Templum is great in terms of providing people with this thing to unite around this thing, around this idea and around this project. As you said, the sense of community that you feel at reenactment festivals, for example, is great. but Templum is a project in which people can participate and develop together and live this life. So it is very important, and the amount of people that I met in my life, not just from religious point of view, but just as it is, it's very rewarding.
So the last thing I want to ask you is, have you been able to see some Roman ruins or collections of Roman items in museums in the world?
We've been to reenactment festivals in Bulgaria and Romania, and we've been to Plovdiv in Bulgaria all the way, I believe, 2011. I may not remember the dates exactly, but there were ancient ruins there, and we've been to Bulgaria and Romania for reenactment festivals in 2018 or 2019. I forgot what was the name of this of ruins of this Roman settlement. I believe it was built around the palace of Trajan, the emperor in Bulgaria. Unfortunately, its name I can't remember it. But I've seen the ruins to a limited extent. I definitely would want to visit Western Europe and Italy, where you have amazing places full of this history. And unfortunately, it's one of the parts that that Ukraine, our location, is missing. Is that a lot of people joke, some even say this seriously, how can you be a Roman polytheist being in Ukraine? Like, what Ukraine has to do with Roman religion, with Roman history, and stuff like that. And to get people an idea of where we are coming from is that we are trying to build a analyze, like, the point that we came from, and my father specifically came from when coming to paganism, specifically Roman tradition, was trying to figure out how to live life. And if a history is a great friend to humanity in a lot of ways, and it provides great examples that we can analyze. And arguably, some people can argue, I think you can't argue with this, that Roman civilization was the most successful among human civilizations, at least that we know of. And why is that? Perhaps because they, the way they lived their life, the way they structured it was, perhaps they had a point, as some may say. So they had this very specific way of organizing their communities and the way of interacting with the gods. And some people can think that we are too religious. Some people may not like it. It's totally fine. But the way we think is that gods, they are present in our world no matter what. And the fact that Roman Empire fell, that it did not conquer the whole world, it doesn't mean that the gods went somewhere or that they never existed. We see the results that Romans were able to achieve, and we draw a conclusion that perhaps they were the ones who came the closest to the way of figuring out how to live life. And we try to revive it, try to make notes of the mistakes that were made. We try to find again the way to bring the Pax Deorum, the peace with gods.
Well, thank you so much. It's been such a fascinating time. The last comment in the chat that I could get to is that Lentulus wrote that you actually met in Plovdiv back in 2012.
2012.
Yeah. And I've never been to Bulgaria or Romania before, so I mean, those are two places that you have on me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I really am looking forward to the day that you're able to visit Rome. It's definitely a wonderful place for any person in Nova Roma or just anybody interested in ancient history. Very special feeling. Well, that being said, I do have to say thank you so much for accepting the offer to interview you. And I also want to give best wishes to, I believe, your dad and your older brother, as well as you. And once things are peaceful again, I would love to speak with your dad and to get to know more about, the beginning part of the Templum. I would love to speak to him about that one day. But everybody wants you to stay safe. Everybody's really rooting for you. And people are excited that ARCS, is back in business and operating, and that Templum is still going strong. And we just can't wait till, things are back to how they were, but also better in the sense of orbs or, increasing the number of altars and the Templum. So, definitely wish you all the best, and thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been great. As I said in the beginning, great talking to you specifically, and I think you're doing a great work with popularizing what we are talking about. Again, about different ways to approach Roman history and Roman way of life. People can appreciate it just from historical point of view and from religious point of view as well. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
And everybody in the chat, thank you for the comments. I couldn't get to all of them since there were a lot, but I definitely appreciated that. And I wish you all a nice evening. And with that, I have to say, Valete.
Valete.
Take care.